is said to be ruled over by the minds of strict materialist scientists, men and women who have completely ridden themselves of superstition, beliefs in silly things like angels and demons and gods. And no one could blame you for assuming things have always been this way. But what if we were to find that some of these men not only believed in such things that modern science would scoff at, they were even obsessed with them? Sir John Dee was most definitely one of these men. Dee was not only a mathematician and scientist of the highest order, he also devoted much of his life to the study of alchemy, divination, and Hermetic philosophy. By all accounts, John Dee was one of the most learned men of his age. In his early 20s, he was invited to lecture at the University of Paris on the geometry of Euclid. It was difficult for Dee to focus on one subject. He wanted to acquire knowledge in all fields. At a certain point, Dee came to believe that he had acquired all of the knowledge possible for a human man. As a result of this, he turned his attention to the supernatural as a means to acquire more knowledge. Specifically, he sought to contact spirits through the use of a scrying or crystal glazer, which would act as an intermediary between Dee and the voice or language of angels. Dee acquired a quartz spear and a black obsidian mirror from the Aztec Empire. He had a lot of trouble seeing over to the other side. He let everyone he knew gaze into the mirror and even tried to see if children could see anything. None of these first attempts satisfied Dee. But in 1582, he met Edward Kelly, then going under the name of Edward Talbot to disguise his conviction for forgery. He was also missing an ear, a common punishment for fake alchemists doing phony transmutations. Edward Kelly made a great impression upon Dee, and the two soon began devoting all of their time to the contacting of angels. These spiritual conferences were conducted with the air of intense piety, always after periods of purification, prayer, and fasting. Dee was convinced of the benefits that could be brought to mankind through this contact. Over a period of many months, Dee and Kelly made successful contacts with what they believed to be angels, and the angels dictated a language to them that they called Enochian. These conversations had a profound effect upon Dee and Kelly, and they soon began living a nomadic life in Central Europe, continuing their spirit conferences along the way. They were seeking out royalty and soon had audiences with Emperor Rudolf II of Bavaria in Prague Castle and King Stephen Bathory of Poland. They attempted to convince them of the importance of these angelic contacts. Mainstream history tells us that at this point, the royalty of Bohemia became suspicious that Dee and Kelly's angelic contacts were simply a ruse to spread Protestantism over the German Roman Empire. And according to them, Edward Kelly died at 42 in the Czech Republic, and John Dee returned home to England. According to mainstream history, John Dee and Edward Kelly failed at their mission. But what if they didn't fail at all, and actually launched a grand Rosicrucian alchemical renaissance that led to the discovery of the American Empire, the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, and the Protestant takeover of Europe? Interestingly, in 1614, just 6 years after John Dee's death, the Fama Fraternis was published in what is now modern-day Germany. This document announced the presence of a Rosicrucian brotherhood, a brotherhood who spoke all languages and traveled amongst all nations. gathering secrets along the way. Over the next 250 years, the British Empire became the most dominant force upon land and sea, and it was partially Dee's maps that enabled the British Navy to discover what they did. One could easily argue that Dee was the scientific mind behind the British Empire, but what if it was something much deeper and much stranger than that? What if the angelic communications are what enabled the British Empire to declare its dominancy upon the earthly plane? What price was paid for this bargain? What was given in return for dominance upon the earth? If we look to ancient times, to the ancient books, it seemed these beings always required blood. Does this explain the endless wars and gratuitous, almost senseless violence of the modern world? Will our blood debt ever be repaid to the angels? Or maybe they weren't angels at all. Something far more sinister was communicating with Dee.